when professionals excoriate the mere, themselves grossly unable to differentiate between reality and fantasy. A praise, a death white sock, in their infinitude, they lapse into diagnostics of an absurd direction. And they call this fraternity. In examining the past, I found myself localizing my presentation regarding the triangle of AIDS, mouth, COVID-19, in a very special sort of triangle, which is shaped like a diamond and with a cross in the middle, that the ravers designate a tetrad. Sometimes they call it a tetrad of deity, infinite, infinite unto the Shamish. And reflecting on the triangle of AIDS, mouth, COVID, I find myself at a place occupied once by President Robert Fripp, called Claymont. Claymont, of course, was the sort of place where, if you can imagine the song Salisbury Hill by Penis Gabriel, playing night and day, night and day, night and day and night, all and everywhere. If you could stand that kind of energy constantly, you would think it was paradise. It's a place where um, the lotus garden of Richard Starkey's car thieving Lucifers mingle in excelsa with the pseudo solemnity of great beyonders. And of course, they're underwritten by cranks like, "You're gonna eat that Colin Powell," which is what the Trumpy Tunes put on the cover of their Manson Guild for the New York Times, at student union newspaper at Carnegie Mellon University, in the lead up from AIDS to mouth and ultimately COVID-19. And of course, psychiatrists like Carrie Sylvester, whose namesake administered mouth for the Licky Chop squadron of Andrew and Andrew and Andrew. But not saying you, Hoffa, who snuffed some Kennedys for good measure for their mania in selling the Sotheby's rape film made by Asian cult specialist for Yoko Ono of Def Genie and so forth, who was a Korean. Um, Sean Lennon balancing Penis Gabriel's hemispheres, from the New York City Kremlin, Opolis. Well, the great Hornet of Claymont announced a tetrad And I said it was an inappropriate geometrical metaphor for the story the Vizier was telling, which was that people come to see a show and a trip dude comes out with his Les Paul. And this is the energy field where the music comes Sakatumi. I said, what you want is instead, this is just a shadow of a tetrahedron. This is the triangle with I mean, it's diamond with the cross in the middle. Is take three line has 6 lines, right? So if you take a triangle with 3 lines and add to another triangle with 3 lines, that's the people come into the show and the trip dude with his Les Paul, and they put together. That's the industry element he was talking about. And you get a four-sided triangle. It's a shadow of a four-sided triangle. They're two-dimensional Vizier was using. You get the fourth triangle because if you add triangles, 1 + 1 = 4. You get a four-sided triangle, and the fourth quality is the music that gets sucked from the orb into the greatness of hololography for Ringo's Lucifers in their Lotus Garden of Excelsa. I said, just do that, right? And they're like, well, what would you think of a scheme of transforming the human race by injecting the blood? Hey, queer bait, want to go to a sweat? And the flock of American psychiatric associations come down and says, it's a sweat show. We're going to Behemoth with Gottlieb and observation, the Wattenmaker cooker, the nerve agent we've implanted in the queer bait is going to be castrated so that he never, ever has an ulterior motive about Believer. Oh, they sanctioned. Oh, they signed. And what all of this amounts to is Biden's ticket to ride. He has a token, Kamala Harris token, and he had a Alpina token who seduced the deaf white side. So the black man gets the pecking order of the presidency and nails Mrs. Goto, and the black green party get to poison it in the mouth for biological linkage, just as Cornel West. So they biological linkage with the mouth. And then they get rid of the grannies with the COVID-19. And they call it building momentum. Mm-hmm. And these were the queers who helped in the AIDS attack. See how presto vivace UW dialectical is? They say, well, we just happen to have a queer who's going along with us. Ha ha. So you can't out-harness us at the Richard Rainbow of Zark and the Excelsior of Richard Starkey's Lucifers in the Lotus Garden. You can't out-harness us because we have a queer going along with it. Munificent. And this is the Claymont or deal schmeal that they sell from the American Psychiatric Association. And they have the audacity to say that I can't tell fact from fiction. They have the audacity to say that while they're erasing evidence, furiously erasing evidence, throwing it into the paper shredder, that I have no proof. I still have all of the evidence necessary and sufficient to show that the Fernhollow Bridge is all Mark Nordenberg has to show for his so-called nature of reality sewage that he has pummeled the ethical dimension of the University of Pittsburgh with from the time I was a child when they kidnapped and tortured me, because that's where the AIDS imbroglio begins, when they kidnapped me and gassed me in a place called Kings Estate. It's a Holocaust simulation. And they said there to say they did it again and that they poisoned me in the mouth as a blessing from the biological linkage momentum builders at UW Dialectical. Gee, that's higher.